Commander Jake Harrison pressed his face against the cold glass of the observation deck. Space stretched out before him like a black ocean filled with tiny diamonds. He had been looking at stars for 15 years, but they still made him feel small and amazed at the same time. "Sir, you need to see this," came a voice behind him. Jake turned around to see Lieutenant Ryan Phillips walking toward him. Ryan looked excited and confused at the same time. His dark hair was messy like he had been running his hands through it. "What is it, Ryan?" Jake asked. "We found something out there. Something big." Jake followed Ryan down the metal hallways of the ship Meridian. Their boots made clicking sounds on the floor as they walked. The ship was quiet except for the soft humming of the engines. Most of the crew was sleeping since it was night shift. They walked into the control room, where several crew members were gathered around the main screen. Dr. Lisa Chong stood in front of the display, pointing at something with her finger. She was a small woman with short black hair and smart eyes behind thick glasses. "There it is," she said when she saw Jake. "We almost missed it." Jake looked at the screen. At first, he saw nothing but darkness and stars. Then Lisa adjusted something, and a shape appeared. It was long and thin, spinning slowly in space. The object looked like it was made of some kind of dark metal, but parts of it glowed with a soft blue light. "How big is it?" Jake asked. "About 2 miles long," said Katie Brooks, the ship's engineer. She was young with red hair tied back and a ponytail. But that's not the weird part. "What's the weird part?" Jake asked. Lisa touched the screen, and the image got bigger. Now Jake could see that the object was covered in strange marks and symbols. Some parts looked smooth, while others had bumps and curves that made no sense. "It's sending out signals," Ryan said. "Not radio signals like we use. Something different. Something we've never seen before." Jake stared at the object. In all his years in space, he had never found anything like this. They had found old rocks and dead planets, but never something that was clearly made by someone else. Something alien. "How long has it been out here?" he asked. "We're not sure," Lisa said, "but our computers think it's very old. Maybe thousands of years. Maybe more." Katie walked over to another screen and started pushing buttons. "The strange thing is that it's not just floating randomly. It's moving in a pattern, like it's waiting for something." Jake felt his heart beat faster. This was what every space explorer dreamed of finding. Proof that humans were not alone in the universe. Proof that other intelligent beings had existed. "Can we get closer?" he asked. "Already working on it," said their pilot, Alex Rivera. He was a quiet man with gentle hands who used to play music on the streets before joining the space program. "But I want to be careful. We don't know if it's dangerous." Lisa adjusted her glasses and looked at more data on her screen. The signals it's sending are very complex. They have patterns like music or math. Maybe both. "Music?" Jake asked. "That's what it looks like. See these wave patterns." She pointed to lines that went up and down on her screen. They look just like sound waves. Like someone is singing or playing an instrument. Jake felt a chill run down his back. An alien object that made music. What did that mean? "Sir," Ryan said, "there's something else. The object seems to be reacting to us. When we got closer, the signals got stronger, like it knows we're here." Everyone in the room got quiet. They all looked at the screen where the alien object spun slowly in the darkness. The blue lights on its surface seemed to pulse a little faster now. "Get us closer," Jake said finally, "but keep our weapons ready just in case." As the Meridian moved toward the mysterious object, Jake couldn't shake the feeling that they were about to discover something that would change everything. Not just for their small crew, but for all of humanity. The object grew larger on their screens, and the musical signals grew stronger. Whatever was inside that ancient alien device, it had been waiting out here in the cold darkness of space for a very long time. Now, finally, someone had come to listen. 3 days had passed since they found the alien object. The Meridian now floated close enough that they could see every detail on its dark surface. The blue lights pulsed in patterns that reminded Jake of a heartbeat. Dr. Lisa Chong had not slept much in those 3 days. She sat in the research lab with coffee cups scattered around her desk. Her eyes were red from staring at computer screens, but she looked more excited than tired. "Jake, you have to see this," she called out when he walked into the lab. Jake pulled up a chair next to her. The screen showed waves and numbers that meant nothing to him, but Lisa's face told him it was important. "I've been studying the signals from the object," she said. "At first I thought they were just random noise, but they're not random at all. They follow rules." "What kind of rules?" Jake asked. Lisa pointed to a pattern on her screen. "Musical rules. The same rules we use to make music on Earth. Look at this." She played a sound through the speakers. It was unlike anything Jake had ever heard. The sound was beautiful but strange, like someone singing in a language he had never heard before. "That's coming from the alien object?" he asked. "Yes, but here's the amazing part." Lisa pushed another button. "This is what happens when I play human music next to it." She started playing a simple song from Earth. It was an old folk tune that Jake remembered from his childhood. As the human music played, something incredible happened. The alien sound began to change. They started to match the rhythm and tune of the Earth song. Jake's mouth fell open. "It's copying our music?" "Not copying," Lisa said. "It's making harmony. Like two people singing together, but one is human and one is alien." Ryan Phillips walked into the lab at that moment. His hair was still messy, and he carried a tablet full of data. "I heard the music from down the hall," he said. "It's beautiful." Lisa nodded. "Ryan, show him what you found about the signals." Ryan sat down and opened his tablet. The alien object isn't just sending out one signal. It's sending out thousands of them, all at the same time, like a whole orchestra playing together. "But that's not the strangest part," Lisa added. "The signals seem to carry emotions." Jake looked at her like she was crazy. "Emotions? How can a signal carry emotions?" Lisa stood up and walked to another computer. "Watch this," she said. She played another alien sound. This one made Jake feel sad, even though he didn't understand why. "I don't know how they did it," Lisa said, "but whoever made this object figured out how to put feelings into music. When I listen to their songs, I can feel what they were feeling when they made them." Katie Brooks walked into the lab, carrying a toolbox. Her red hair was pulled back, and she had grease on her hands from working on the ship's engines. "Are you still playing with that alien music?" she asked. "I could hear it all the way in the engine room." "What did you think of it?" Lisa asked. Katie set down her toolbox and thought for a moment. "It made me think of home, of my grandmother's farm where I grew up, which is weird because it doesn't sound like any Earth music I know." Lisa smiled. "That's exactly what I'm talking about. The music doesn't just sound good. It makes us feel things. It makes us remember things." Jake was quiet for a long time. He thought about what this meant. An alien race that could put emotions into music. A race that understood something deep about how music worked. "How old did you say this object was?" he asked. "Our best guess is about 50,000 years, Ryan said. "Maybe older." "So this race was making emotional music 50,000 years ago," Jake said slowly, "long before humans even invented writing." "That's right," Lisa said. "And there's something else. I think this object is some kind of test." Everyone looked at her. "What kind of test?" Katie asked. Lisa sat back down at her computer. "I think it's testing us. Testing whether we understand music the same way they did. Whether we can feel what they felt." She played another alien song. This one was different from the others. It sounded incomplete, like it was missing something. "Listen to this one," she said. "It's like half of a conversation, like someone asking a question and waiting for an answer." Jake listened carefully. The music was beautiful but lonely. It felt like someone calling out into the darkness, hoping someone would call back. "What do you think it wants?" he asked. Lisa looked at the alien object on the main screen. Its blue lights pulsed steadily, waiting. "I think it wants us to answer," she said. Jake could not sleep. He walked through the quiet halls of the Meridian, thinking about the alien music. Every time he closed his eyes, he heard those strange, beautiful sounds in his head. He found himself walking toward the observation deck. When he got there, he saw Alex Rivera sitting by the big window. Alex was holding his old violin, the one he used to play on the streets before joining the space crew. Can't sleep either? Jake asked. Alex looked up and smiled. That alien music keeps playing in my head. I keep thinking I should know how to answer it, but I don't. Jake sat down next to him. Have you tried playing along with it? A few times, Alex said, but something feels wrong, like I'm missing something important. Before Jake could answer, Lisa's voice came over the ship's speakers. All senior crew to the research lab immediately. We have a problem. Jake and Alex hurried to the lab. When they got there, they found Lisa and Ryan staring at the computer screens. Katie was there too, looking worried. What's wrong? Jake asked. Lisa pointed to her screen. The alien object has changed. Look at this. The screen showed the object spinning faster than before. The blue lights were brighter, and they pulsed in a different pattern. It started about an hour ago, Ryan said, right after we played more human music near it. Is it dangerous? Katie asked. I don't think so, Lisa said, but I think we did something. We triggered something inside it. She walked to another computer and pulled up new data. The object is sending out much stronger signals now, and they're more complex, like it's trying to tell us something important. Jake looked at the patterns on the screen. They reminded him of words, but words he could not read. Have you figured out what it's trying to say? He asked. Lisa nodded slowly. I think so, but you're not going to believe it. She pressed a button, and the alien music filled the room. This time it was different. The sound were organized like someone giving a speech or telling a story. I've been working with the ship's computer to translate the patterns, Lisa said. It's not perfect, but I think I understand the basic message. Everyone waited for her to continue. The race that made this object called themselves the Serenari. They traveled the galaxy looking for other races that understood music the way they did. Did they find any? Alex asked. Lisa shook her head. That's the sad part. They searched for thousands of years, but never found anyone. They were alone. Jake felt a chill. The idea of being alone in the universe was something that scared every space explorer. What happened to them? Katie asked. They died out about 50,000 years ago, Lisa said. But before they died, they built objects like this one. They sent them all over the galaxy, hoping that someday another musical race would find them. Ryan leaned forward. So this thing has been floating out here for 50,000 years, waiting for us? Yes, Lisa said. But there's more. The object isn't just a message. It's a test. She walked back to her computer and showed them more patterns. The Serenari believed that music was the most important thing in the universe. They thought it was the only way different races could truly understand each other. So they designed this test to see if any race they met could prove they understood music the same way. What kind of test? Jake asked. Lisa looked nervous. The object contains incomplete songs, pieces of music that are missing parts. We have to complete them, but not just with any music. We have to complete them in a way that shows we understand what the Serenari were trying to say. Alex picked up his violin. Like finishing a conversation? Exactly, Lisa said. But here's the hard part. We only get one chance. If we fail the test, the object will shut down forever. All the Serenari knowledge and music will be lost. The room became very quiet. Everyone understood what this meant. They were holding the last piece of an ancient civilization in their hands. And they might be the last chance to save it. How much time do we have? Jake asked. Ryan checked his tablet. Based on the object's energy patterns, maybe 3 days. After that, it will run out of power and shut down. Jake looked around at his crew. They were smart and brave, but this was bigger than anything they had ever faced. Can we do it? He asked Lisa. Lisa took off her glasses and cleaned them slowly. I don't know. The Serenari were incredibly advanced. Their music is more complex than anything humans have ever created. Alex stood up and walked to a window. He could see the alien object spinning in space, its lights calling out into the darkness. Maybe that's not what they want, he said quietly. Everyone looked at him. Maybe they don't want us to be like them, Alex continued. Maybe they want us to be ourselves. 2 days had passed since they learned about the test. Jake watched his crew work harder than they had ever worked before. Lisa had not left the research lab except to eat and sleep for a few hours. Ryan spent all his time trying to understand the alien language patterns. Katie worked on building special equipment to help them communicate with the object. But Alex was different. While everyone else buried themselves in computers and data, he spent his time just listening. He sat in the observation deck with his violin, playing simple melodies while the alien object spun in space outside. Jake found him there on the second morning. "How are you doing?" Jake asked. Alex looked tired but peaceful. "I think I'm starting to understand something." "What do you mean?" Alex picked up his violin and played a few notes. They were soft and gentle, like a lullaby. "I used to play music on the streets back on Earth," Alex said. "People would stop and listen, and sometimes they would cry or smile or remember something from their past. I never understood how music could do that." Jake sat down next to him. "And now you do?" "I think so," Alex said. "Music isn't just sounds. It's feelings. It's memories. It's everything that makes us human." Before Jake could respond, Lisa's voice came over the speakers again. "Everyone to the research lab. I found something important." When they got to the lab, Lisa was standing in front of a large screen showing complex musical patterns. Her hair was messy and she had dark circles under her eyes, but she looked excited. "I've been studying the incomplete songs of the alien object," she said. "I think I know what the Serenari want us to do." She pressed a button and played one of the alien melodies. It was beautiful but sad, like someone crying for help. "This song is about loneliness," Lisa said. "The Serenari were telling the story of how they searched the galaxy, but never found anyone like them." She played another melody. This one sounded hopeful but uncertain. "This one is about hope, about believing that someday they would find other musical beings." Katie raised her hand. "So we need to finish these stories?" "Yes," Lisa said. "But not just finish them. We need to answer them. We need to show the Serenari that they were right to hope." Ryan looked at his tablet. "We have less than 24 hours before the object shuts down." Jake felt the weight of responsibility on his shoulders. The last chance to save an entire civilization's knowledge. And it was up to his small crew. "What do we need to do?" he asked. Lisa walked to her computer. "I've identified 5 incomplete songs. Each one tells part of the Serenari story. We need to complete all 5 in a way that shows we understand their meaning." "That sounds impossible," Katie said. "It would be impossible if we tried to copy their style," Alex said quietly. Everyone looked at him. "But what if we don't try to be like them? What if we answer their songs with our own human music?" Lisa frowned. "What do you mean?" Alex stood up and walked to the center of the room. "Think about it. The Serenari were alone. They never found anyone to make music with. But we're not alone. We have each other." He picked up his violin. "What if the test isn't about making perfect alien music? What if it's about showing them what they missed? What if we show them what music sounds like when you're not alone?" Jake felt something click in his mind. "You mean we answer their lonely songs with happy songs?" "Not just happy," Alex said. "Human. We show them how humans make music together. How we take old songs and make them new. How we make each other better." Lisa's eyes lit up behind her glasses. "That could work. The object has been responding to our music. Maybe it's been learning from us." She turned to her computer and started typing quickly. "If Alex is right, we don't need to be perfect. We just need to be ourselves." Katie looked confused. "But how do we know what songs to play?" Alex smiled. "We play the songs that mean something to us. The songs that remind us why we're human." "Like what?" Ryan asked. Alex thought for a moment. "Like the song I heard a young girl play on the streets once. She was just a kid, but she played with so much heart that everyone stopped to listen. She took an old popular song and made it her own." "What song?" Jake asked. "A violin covered a song called Señorita. The girl played it like she was telling her own story, not just copying someone else's music." Lisa nodded slowly. "That's perfect. A song that shows how humans take something beautiful and make it even more beautiful." Jake looked around at his crew. They were no longer just scientists and explorers. They were musicians preparing for the most important performance in human history. "Then that's what we'll do," he said. "We'll show the Serenari what they've been missing. We'll show them what it means to make music together." Jake woke up to red lights flashing in his room. The ship's alarm was going off. He jumped out of bed and ran to the control room. "What's happening?" he shouted over the noise. Ryan was at his station, his face pale. "We have company. 3 ships just appeared out of nowhere." Jake looked at the main screen. 3 dark ships hung in space near the alien object. They were bigger than the Meridian and covered in weapons. "Are they trying to talk to us?" Jake asked. "They sent one message." Ryan said, "They want us to move away from the object. They claim it belongs to them." Lisa ran into the control room, still wearing her pajamas. "We can't leave now. We only have 6 hours left before the object shuts down forever." Katie arrived next, carrying her toolbox. "Can we fight them?" Jake shook his head. 3 against 1? We wouldn't stand a chance. Alex walked in last, carrying his violin case. He looked calm despite the dangerous situation. "How long do we have before they attack?" he asked. Ryan checked his instruments. "They're charging their weapons. Maybe 10 minutes. Jake felt trapped. They had come so far, learned so much about the Serenari. Now they might lose everything because of these alien ships. "Wait," Lisa said suddenly. "Look at the object." Everyone turned to the screen, showing the Serenari artifact. Its blue lights were pulsing faster than ever before. The whole object was glowing brighter. "It's reacting to the other ships," Lisa said. "I think it recognizes them." "Is that good or bad?" Katie asked. Lisa ran to her computer and started checking the readings. The object is sending out new signals. Stronger ones. It's like it's trying to protect itself. One of the alien ships fired a warning shot. The energy beam passed close to the Meridian, making the whole ship shake. "They're serious," Ryan said. "We need to decide what to do." Jake looked around at his crew. They had all worked so hard to get to this point. The thought of giving up now made him sick. "We don't have time to run," he said. "We need to try the test now, before they stop us." "But we're not ready," Lisa protested. "We need more time to prepare." Alex opened his violin case. "Sometimes the best music happens when you don't have time to think about it." He walked to the center of the control room and picked up his violin. "Lisa, can you play the first Serenari song? The one about loneliness." Lisa's hands shook as she turned on the alien music. The sad, beautiful melody filled the room. Alex listened for a moment, then began to play along. But instead of copying the alien tune, he played something different. He played the melody of Señorita, the song he remembered from the street performer. At first, the 2 songs sounded wrong together. But slowly, Alex began to change his playing. He made the human song fit with the alien one, like 2 people learning to dance together. "It's working," Lisa whispered. "The object is responding." On the screen, they could see the alien artifact glowing even brighter. The hostile ships seemed confused. They had stopped charging their weapons. "Play the next song," Alex said, never stopping his violin. Lisa played the second Serenari melody, the one about hope. This time, Katie joined in. She had no instrument, but she began to hum along with Alex's violin. Her voice was not perfect, but it was warm and human. Ryan started tapping a rhythm on his control panel. Even Jake found himself humming along. The alien ships outside were moving closer, but they seemed less threatening now. The Serenari object was sending out waves of energy that surrounded all the ships. The third song, Alex said, sweat running down his face from concentration. Lisa played the third melody. This one was about friendship and working together. The whole crew joined in now, each adding their own voice to music. The Serenari object suddenly sent out a massive pulse of light. The energy wave hit all the ships at once. But instead of hurting them, it seemed to calm everything down. "The hostile ships have stopped moving," Ryan reported. "They're just floating there." Alex played louder and stronger. The human melody of Señorita wove through the alien songs like a golden thread, connecting them all together. "2 more songs," Lisa said. "We're almost there." But just as she reached the fourth song, the Serenari object began to shake. Cracks appeared in its surface, and some of the blue lights started to flicker. "It's breaking apart," Katie shouted. "The energy is too much for it." Jake realized they were running out of time faster than they thought. The object was so old that using this much power was destroying it. "We have to finish this now," he said. "All 5 songs at once." Lisa looked at him like he was crazy. "That's impossible. No one can play 5 complex songs at the same time." Alex smiled, still play his violin. "No one person can. But we're not one person. We're a crew." Alex kept playing his violin as the Serenari object shook and cracked in space. The blue lights were getting dimmer, and pieces of the ancient artifact were starting to break off. "Everyone listen to me," Alex shouted over the music. "Lisa, play all 5 alien songs at the same time. Don't worry about how it sounds." Lisa's fingers flew over her computer controls. All 5 Serenari melodies began playing at once. The sound was chaos, beautiful but confusing, like 5 people trying to tell different stories at the same time. "Now what?" Katie asked. Alex closed his eyes and listened to the alien music. "Each of you pick one song. Just one. Listen to it and feel what it's trying to say." Ryan pointed to his ears. "I'll take the second one. The hopeful one." "I've got the fourth," Katie said. "The one about building things together." "Third one for me," Lisa said. "About friendship." Jake stepped forward. "I'll take the 5th song." "What about the first one?" Ryan asked. "The lonely one?" Alex opened his eyes and smiled. "That one's mine. I understand lonely." He began to play his violin differently now. Instead of trying to match all 5 alien songs, he focused on just the first one, the sad, lonely melody that told the story of the Serenari searching the galaxy by themselves. But Alex didn't play it the same way the aliens had. He played it like someone who had been lonely, but wasn't lonely anymore. He played it like someone who had found friends. Katie began to hum along with the 4th song. She thought about all the time she had worked with other people to fix broken engines and build new machines. Her voice carried the feeling of hands working together. Ryan tapped out the rhythm of the 2nd song on his control panel. He thought about hope, about looking at the stars and believing that something wonderful was waiting out there. His tapping was steady and strong, like a heartbeat that refused to give up. Lisa sang softly along with the 3rd song. She thought about her crew, about how they had become like family during their years in space. Her voice was gentle but sure, like someone welcoming a new friend home. Jake listened to the 5th song and began to whistle along with it. This song was about teaching and learning, about passing knowledge from one generation to the next. He thought about all the young explorers who would come after them, who would see the stars because of what they were doing today. Something amazing began to happen. The 5 different melodies, played by 5 different humans, started to fit together. Not perfectly, but beautifully, like puzzle pieces that were slightly different shapes but still made a complete picture. The Serenari object stopped shaking. The cracks in its surface began to glow with golden light instead of blue. The broken pieces that had been floating away suddenly stopped and began moving back toward the main structure. "It's fixing itself," Lisa whispered, afraid to speak too loudly and break the magic. The hostile alien ships were moving closer, but they weren't threatening anymore. Their weapons were powered down, and they seemed to be just watching and listening. Alex played his violin louder, pouring all his heart into music. He thought about the young girl he had seen on the streets, playing Señorita with such passion that strangers stopped to listen. He thought about how music could make people feel connected even when they were far apart. The golden light from the Serenari object grew brighter and brighter. Suddenly, it sent out a wave of energy that washed over all the ships. But this energy felt warm and welcoming, like a hug from an old friend. When the light faded, everything was quiet except for the crew's music. Then, slowly, new sound began to join them. The alien ships were playing music too. Each ship added its own voice to the song, creating a harmony that filled the empty space between the stars. But the most amazing thing happened next. The Serenari object began to project images into space. Pictures made of light showed the story of the ancient race, how they had traveled the galaxy, how they had searched for others like them, and how they had finally decided to create the test objects before they died. The last image showed something that made Jake's heart skip. It was a picture of many different alien races, all playing music together, all connected by the universal language of song and feeling. A new voice spoke in their minds. Not words, but understanding. The Serenari object was communicating directly with them now. The test was never about making perfect music. It was about showing that different voices could work together to create something beautiful. The Serenari had been looking for a race that understood cooperation, creativity, and the power of unity. Humans had passed the test not because they were the best musicians, but because they knew how to make music together. 6 months had passed since the day they met the Serenari object. Jake stood on the observation deck of the Meridian, but everything had changed. Outside the window, he could see ships from 12 different alien races floating peacefully together in space. The hostile ships that threatened them that day had not been enemies at all. They were guardians, protecting the Serenari object from anyone who might try to steal it or use it for war. When the humans passed the test, the guardians had welcomed them with open arms. Hard to believe, isn't it? Alex said, walking up beside Jake. He still carried his violin case everywhere he went. Which part? Jake asked. That we're now friends with aliens, or that we're the first humans to become galactic ambassadors? Alex laughed. Both, I guess. Through the window, they could see other human ships arriving. Word had spread quickly through human space about what the crew of the Meridian had discovered. Now, musicians and artists from Earth were traveling to this meeting place to learn from the aliens and share their own music. Lisa appeared in the doorway, carrying a tablet full of new information. She looked happier and more relaxed than Jake had ever seen her. The translation work is going amazing, she said. We've already learned songs from 8 different alien cultures. Each one tells us something new about how they see the universe. Any interesting discoveries? Jake asked. Lisa smiled. The blue-skinned aliens from the Anders system create music using colors instead of sounds. The rock creatures from Titan 7 sing songs that last for days. And the energy beings from the Vega cluster make music by dancing through space itself. Katie walked in, wiping her hands on a clean towel. She had been working with alien engineers to build new instruments that could translate between different types of music. I just finished testing the harmony translator, she said. It works perfectly. Now any species can make music with any other species, even if they use completely different sounds. Ryan joined them, grinning widely. I just got word from Earth Command. They're sending 3 more ships with full crews of musicians and cultural experts. We're going to establish a permanent base here. Jake felt proud of his crew. They had started this journey as simple explorers looking for new planets. Now, they were helping to build the first galactic community based on music and understanding. The best part, Alex said, is that it's working exactly like the Serenari hoped it would. He was right. The alien races that found the meeting place were not interested in war or conquest. They came to share their music and learn from others. Some had been fighting each other for centuries. But when they made music together, those old conflicts seemed to fade away. Alex, Lisa said, the Council of Races wants you to perform at tomorrow's ceremony. Alex looked surprised. What ceremony? They're officially declaring this place the Serenari Memorial Station, Jake explained. And they want the human who started it all to play the song that brought everyone together. Alex held up his violin case. Señorita again? That's right, Katie said. But this time, you'll have help from musicians from 12 different worlds. Jake imagined what that would sound like. A violin from Earth, crystal chimes from the ice world of Frost, singing crystals from the mountain people of Kepler Prime, and harmony generators from the machine race of Omega Station, all playing the same song together. You know what the really amazing thing is? Ryan said, the Serenari never got to see this. They spent their whole lives looking for what we found in a single day. Alex was quiet for a moment. Maybe they did see it. Maybe they saw it in their dreams. And that's why they built the test objects. Lisa nodded. The objects weren't just tests. They were invitations. invitations to join something bigger than any one race. Jake looked out at the ships floating in space. Humans, aliens, and artificial intelligences, all working together to create something beautiful. The empty space between the stars didn't feel empty anymore. It felt full of music and friendship and possibility. What happens next? Katie asked. Jake smiled. We keep exploring. We keep finding new races and new music. We keep building the community the Serenari dreamed of. And we keep playing, Alex added, opening his violin case. Because that's what brings us all together. As Alex began to play a soft melody, other sounds joined in from the ships outside. The daily evening concert had begun, a tradition that started the day after they passed the test. Every evening, all the races would play music together, creating a symphony that could be heard across the solar system. Jake closed his eyes and listened. Somewhere in that beautiful sound, he could almost hear the Serenari themselves, finally getting the answer to their 50,000-year-old question. They were not alone anymore. None of them were.